The Town of North Attleboro Conservation Commission at
This is it right here.
December 10th at 6:30 p.m. Members present are Deb Cato, myself, Jessica Marino, Joe Miller, Lindsay Dillon, and Cliff Bassett. First on the meeting agenda is a notice of intent for 5 Diamond Street, William Bowness, SE number 243, and it looks like we don't have a file number yet.
No file numbers, yeah.
Yeah, no file number. I'll let you take it away in just a second. I'm just going to read the legal notice into the record. In accordance with Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws, a public hearing will be held by the Town of North Attleboro Conservation Commission on Tuesday, December 10th at 6:30 p.m. in the public meeting room at 49 Whiting Street, North Attleboro, Mass. On the notice of intent filed by William Bowness for property located at 5 Diamond Street, North Attleboro, Assessors Map 42, Parcel 137. The project proposes the demolition and reconstruction of a single-family home destroyed by fire with associated utilities and grading within the 100-foot buffer zone to the bank of Falls Pond. The application and plans for said activities can be found on the town website. And if you don't mind just introducing yourself for the record, and I will let you take it away.
Good evening. My name's Stephen Nelson. I'm an architect with offices at 129 Bank Street in Attleboro, Mass. And I'm here representing William Bowness and Pam Woody, who are the owners of this property. And they also currently own 1 Diamond Street, so where they live. This house that exists on the lot was severely damaged by a fire this last year. And as a result, it's their plan to remove this house from the lot and build a new house. So basically, what you see there is the back side of the house, and there's a patio section that will actually show on the plan. You can see a better look of it as it goes down to the water. The proposal is basically to extend back. The new house will extend back to that, just past that point where the old patios were, which is basically level land from there to the to Falls Pond. We had it surveyed by Risser Engineering, and ECR. Brad Holmes went out and flagged wetlands, which was basically determined to be essentially the edge of the water. So our proposal is to stay outside of the 25-foot zone from the wetland line. So there'll be no touch in that 25-foot zone. Basically, the remainder of the lot is virtually in the 100-foot buffer zone, with the exception of a tiny little triangle at the front corner that is not in the 100-foot. So we'll be able to construct this without damage to the adjacent properties and without, siltation problems and runoff into the Falls Pond by protecting the perimeter from the property lines and the 25-foot no-touch zone with wattles and silt fence, basically to keep any runoff of any sediment from continuing past that into the 25-foot no-touch zone. So I think it's a fairly straightforward case of doing work in the buffer zone, and certainly the complete intention is to be able to protect that at all time. So I'll be glad to entertain any questions if there are any.
Okay. Yeah, it seems pretty straightforward. I have a couple of just minor questions that wasn't super clear from the plan. So it looks like you staked out erosion controls. I can't tell from that photo. Is there silt fence there as well, or is it just the water?
After the fire, they that was put in along the edge.
Okay, so it's been there for a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not the new. The new will be put in.
Got it.
Upon
Start of work.
this. Yeah.
Okay. And I know you said that the new footprint of the house is sort of replacing that patio. So that will obviously all be, that patio will not extend further towards the false pond area, correct? Like, are they putting a patio back in?
No, yeah, I mean, basically, the rear of the house will be the end at this point, from what you can see on the line, which is just a few feet past where the edge of that patio is now. You can see the dotted line below the number 29. That is where the back of that patio is now.
Okay,
And the house will go just past that.
just a little bit, yeah, it looks like a couple of feet.
Yeah, a couple of
Okay.
feet past that, correct.
Where are you planning, I'm assuming you're planning on demoing and then rebuilding, you're not gonna do it, partial demo, partial rebuild. Where are you planning on putting, any stockpiling of materials? Because it seems like this is a fairly,
Most of the,
Right.
the way this is going to have to be done is most of the material, they will excavate the perimeter to put foundation walls in. Most of the material is going to have to be stockpiled in the middle of the basement until it's time to backfill.
Okay.
At which time they'll work from the inside to backfill outside the foundation with
Got
that
it.
pile. And then the surplus will be removed from the site.
okay. And then the last question I had, and I don't think there are any, but is there any tree removal being proposed in this?
No.
This site? Okay. That's all I had. I'll open it up to the commission to see if anybody else has questions, starting with Deb.
I'm all set, thanks.
Jill?
I'm good.
All right. Anything from you, Sandra? I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No, I went out there and took a look, took pictures with Mr. Bowman. Sorry, didn't say it right. Everything looked okay. It was just the erosion control that he had put in after the fire, just to protect from anything getting into the water. That had gone. It's kind of encroached into the ground a little bit, so they had to remove it.
Okay.
He had the flags there, so it was looking good. He did mention, though, that the patio, underneath the patio is the old septic system, so that's going to be removed, I believe, and they're going to just fix that
By
all
end
up.
of this
Because
town
they are
Got
onto
it,
town
okay.
sewer now.
Okay, got it. Okay. So it sounds like nobody has any major concerns, comments. I will see if anyone has any comments or questions from the public. Seeing nobody. So I don't think we have a DEP file number for this project yet, so we are gonna have to continue the public hearing until we have that file number. I would anticipate it probably at the next meeting, and I think it'll be more of a procedural, close the public hearing, issue the order of conditions, so you don't need to be here for that. It's just we can't close the actual application until we have that file number.
Right. I
from
did
DEP.
talk to them at DEP, but
Yeah. Yeah, I would imagine it's moving a little slowly with the holidays. So if you're okay with that, I'm gonna make a motion to continue the public hearing until January 7th with the consent of the applicant, pending a DEP file number.
So moved.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you.
thank you.
Do we have the representative from Heather Hill?
I don't think so. Oh, you
Yes,
do? Oh,
okay,
you are?
perfect.
Oh, okay, I wasn't sure.
Next on the agenda, we have an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation, an ANRAD for Heather Hill Properties, Jeff Heidelberg, SE number 243, also no DEP file number for
Okay.
this one.
Great, thank you very much. Sorry.
Before you get going, I'll just read this into the record. Sure. In accordance with Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws, a public hearing will be held by the North Attleboro Conservation Commission on Tuesday, December 10th, 2024 at 6:30 PM in the public meeting room at 49 Whiting Street, North Attleboro, Mass. on the abbreviated notice of resource area delineation filed by Jeff Heidelberg for property located off of Bayberry Road, Assessor's Map
Do you want the ANRAD or
21. Lots 45 and 433, North Attleboro, Mass. The applicant is seeking to have the commission confirm the boundaries of jurisdictional wetland resource areas delineated by LEC Environmental Consulting. The application and plans for said request can be found on the town website. If you don't mind just introducing yourself before you start talking about the project.
Sure, I'm Mark Manganello with LEC Environmental Consultants. As as the notice said, this is an ANRAD seeking confirmation of wetland resource area boundaries on this property. I just want to orient you all to where this property is. It doesn't have a street address. It's referenced in the assessor's map as parcel map 21, lot 433, and lot 45. There should be an aerial photo image.
In that,
That's further down in the document.
sorry about that.
That's okay.
It just decided to quit on me. Further down? Oh,
Yep. So the property's located just on the town line with Plainville. It shares common ownership with Heather Hill Country Club. This is part of a larger delineation that occurred on Heather Hill Country Club and continued into North Attleboro onto these two parcels that are also owned by the owner of Heather Hill Country Club. This is, of course, limited to these two parcels in North Attleboro. That's it.
This one here?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
So with that image, you can see the outline of the property. It's oddly configured. There's a large portion and then a long, narrow sliver. That long, narrow sliver is lot 433. The other one is lot 45, which is a larger sort of rectangular parcel. There are undeveloped parcels. There's bordering vegetated wetlands on the property. There are also 3 streams that flow south from Heather Hill Country Club and cross the narrow sliver portion, including the furthest west, right along, you can see it just in Plainville, that long stream. Yep, that's Scotts Brook. Scotts Brook flows along the westerly property line, and then the other 2 streams flow from that chain of ponds in the middle of Heather Hill across the site, and then
There's these here.
there's a bordering vegetated wetland within that area, which we delineated, and which also contains an intermittent stream, which flows to the east. So hopefully you're oriented now. If you don't mind, putting up the site plan that will allow everyone to see where the wetlands are and the wetland flag numbers.
Oops, sorry, I made that too big.
Yeah, it comes through that way. So there's sort of a long history here with this stream system. Back in 2008, there was a determination of applicability that was appealed for Scotts Brook and these streams. This occurred in North Attleboro, in and around this area, and it went to an adjudicatory hearing with DEP, and DEP ended up issuing an administrative law decision on the status of the streams based on an extensive expert testimony regarding the entire watershed, and found that Scotts Brook and these streams were all intermittent, except for one portion of Scotts Brook, which is way up in Plainville. In 2017, the Plainville Concom reviewed the streams in Plainville and found them to be intermittent, similar to that decision. So there's kind of a procedural history here of intense analysis of these streams. And we're simply seeking to sort of reaffirm those findings here with this application. And it's limited to these short segments of the stream that cross this very narrow piece of property. So it's kind of unusual in that regard, but in the interest of being thorough with our delineation, we wanted to reestablish the determination for these streams, as well as the BVW. The BVW flags are in green. That was field delineated by LEC. I understand the commission is contemplating hiring a peer reviewer to review this, which is fine with us. We're prepared to engage the peer reviewer and go through that process. And that's the presentation. I'll answer any questions you have.
Great. I think you answered my only questions were sort of the status of those streams. I did notice if you could, this is the only sheet, correct?
Correct.
For the plans?
Yep.
So when I had taken a look at the boundary of the parcel in relation to, I don't know what that street is down there that sort of curves to the left, bottom left.
Oh, this one here?
Nope, bottom left.
Yeah, actually, this part of the drawing is not shown here. There it is. That's the rest of it.
Okay.
Harris Drive.
Yeah. Scotts Brook is the very far end of the parcel, just at the, there.
Like almost where that rotary kicks in?
Exactly.
Okay. So, you're saying in 2017, well, I guess back in 2008, it was reviewed, they were all determined to be intermittent. And then again in 2017, Plainville, the town of Plainville independently reviewed that?
Yeah, there
again?
was a development slated for Heather Hill Country Club back then. There was an ANRAD filed for that entire property. The Plainville Concom hired a peer reviewer to peer review the findings. Eventually, they obtained observations of the stream's dry during a non-drought period, which, as you may know, is the criteria to overcome the presumption that it's perennial.
Okay,
And so they issued an ORAD specifically finding that those streams were
that all of them
intermittent.
were intermittent, okay.
Yep.
Are they, it looks like from the aerial, at least, like when you look at it in relation to the streets, that they might be connected by like culverts or like flared end sections. Do you know how they're connected? Like
Continuing
in this-
south,
Yeah, like I guess from that sliver into, I mean, I know we're not specifically talking about that parcel, but
Yep.
that like sort of open area between Bayberry Road and Harris Drive.
I don't know exactly. The USGS map shows them connecting in a certain manner, which
Yeah.
may or may not be accurate. We can
You want me
perhaps
to pull
pull
it
that up. Actually, I embedded it in the text of the report, right near the end of the report. So
Not
if
this
you-
one, right?
No, scroll up, please. See what page
Am I
it
at
is.
the- I think I'm at the end here.
Yeah, it's, right, keep going that way. There it is.
Whoop.
On 30.
This one here?
Yes. Are you able to zoom into that at all?
Sorry.
This doesn't show the property lines, but Scotts Brook is the far left of the site, and it runs parallel to Harris Drive there. So you can kind of see how they interconnect there off-site.
And is that, it looks like a pond, is that a natural pond? I mean,
Which one?
right
That one?
there, yeah, or is that like a
Don't know,
detention
that's,
basin or
that's a
something?
couple of 100 feet at least from
From the site,
the
okay.
site, so we didn't evaluate that.
Okay. All right, I do not have any other questions. I'll open it up to, commission members, see if anybody else has questions. I'll start with Brian.
Sorry, I came in a little bit late. I commuted from Worcester, but I'm all set for right now. Thank
Deb?
you very much.
Yeah, I'm all set, yeah, for review.
Okay. Joe?
I'm all set for now.
Lindsay? Okay. So yeah, like you said, I think we're entertaining the motion. It will be later in our agenda to approve the peer review fee
Yep.
at the consent of the applicant. So as long as you're okay with that, we can't obviously close this without a DEP file number anyway.
Yep.
So as long as the applicant is amenable to the peer review fee, we'll get that in motion in the next couple weeks with Sandra. And you, I don't know if it would be you or somebody else from your staff, if you want to accompany them out there. That's sort of the process.
It's not necessary,
Yeah.
they can.
Are the
do-
flags visible?
They are, yeah.
Okay.
They're there and visible, so they can do their own thing and
Yep.
report back to us, and if it's necessary to meet out there to iron out any differences, we can do that.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. All right, so I will see if anybody wishes to comment from the public before making a motion. Seeing nobody, okay. All right, so I will make a motion to continue the public hearing until January 7th.
I would say January 21st.
Oh, because
Because of the peer review.
Field visit,
Yeah.
yeah. Is that okay, the January 21st
Yeah, I think
hearing?
that's reality. It's not gonna be done by January 7th.
Hopefully we don't get snow, because
Yeah,
that'll
I know.
be difficult.
Yeah, it is what it is.
All right, so I will make a motion to continue the public hearing until January 21st, 2025, with consent of the applicant.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have any issue with us communicating directly with the peer reviewer once they're hired about schedule and stuff like that?
I don't personally. I don't know.
No, they, as long as the office is involved and
Yeah, just we
copied.
would copy you.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I plan to go with the peer reviewer to do the delineation.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Good.
that's the plan.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Green cards. Oh, I forgot to ask for the green cards on the first one.
I think they were in the NOI
Daughter
application.
signed
okay.
Yeah.
As far as the check goes,
If you can get that, the sooner you get us the check for the peer review, the sooner we can get it going.
and we make that out to,
The town of North Attleboro. And then we pay the peer review.
got it. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Moving on, we have a notice of intent for 582 Kelly Boulevard, MCP 582 Kelly LLC, SE number 243, with no file number. And I will, before you get going, let me just read the legal notice into the record. In accordance with Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws, a public hearing will be held by the North Attleboro Conservation Commission on Tuesday, December 10th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. in the public meeting room at 49 Whiting Street, North Attleboro, Mass. on the notice of intent filed by MCP 582 Kelly LLC for property located at 582 Kelly Boulevard, North Attleboro, Assessors Map 35, Parcel 3. The proposed project consists of the construction of new residential apartments and associated paved parking areas, landscaping, utilities, and stormwater management systems. The application and plans for said activities will be posted on the town website.
Oh, like that? Oh, okay.
If you don't mind just introducing yourself for the record, and I'll let you take it away, talk about the project.
Keith Curran from Bowler, representing Marcus Partners. Danielle Blake is also here from Marcus Partners. So, as you mentioned, the residential development, it's at 582 Kelly Boulevard, which right now is the driving range and the mini golf. I think it's Sticks. The plan is to build 6 residential units as shown on this plan. Can you just go back one more? I'm sorry, it shows the whole.
Oh, just
whole-
make it smaller?
No, actually go back to the first. There should be one more page
This
in
is
front of this.
1, 2.
There's not one
right.
before this.
This
You
is
had
the
it
one
up
that-
first. Oh, wait, go back.
Oh,
No, can you go up a little? Sorry, there was
This
one more page that showed the whole site.
this one?
No.
This one.
No, it should be the one at the very top that says one, the
Oh,
one
that
with,
says 1. Maybe I'm on the wrong.
there you go.
There we go.
I guess
Okay.
maybe you do have to pan down. You might have been on it, sorry. So if you can pan down, there's actually 2 accesses to the site. One is from Kelly Boulevard, one is from George Levin Drive. There you go. Sorry, you were on the right spot.
Yeah, it's too big and
To see
Big of a
anything of
site. Yes.
substance, yeah.
Sorry about that. So yes, so the access is Kelly Boulevard and George Levin to the site, the proposed. Right now, there is access to the site actually in those 2 locations also, so we're keeping that. There would be a full access, the main access will be from George Levin, from Kelly Boulevard. Right now, the proposed is to have a right-in, right-out only. The 6 buildings total 304 units. There's also other buildings on there. You can see there's a clubhouse with amenity. There's also a mail room, and there's a pool with some green space. There's a pool house, and there's also 5 garage, just single-story garage space also. As mentioned, the site's about 13.7 acres. Previously, there was an ORAD that was issued from this board back in March 5th of 2022. And you'll see on the plans, if you go to the next page, please. This is just a blow-up of the back. So this actually shows the 25-foot buffer, shows the wetland resources in the back, at the back of the site, at the top of the page, and then also shown as the 100-foot, buffer. So the only thing that we're proposing within the 100-foot buffer, as you can see, is parking, and so there'll be some landscaping in there, and also a dog park, which is at that top left area by the north arrow. All buildings are outside the 100, and again, the idea is when we go to the grading plan, there's no disturbance within that 25-foot buffer at all. So I think the next page is the actual the grading plan. So here's the overall grading plan. If you go to the next one, actually, it's a blow up of the top part of the site, the resource area right there. So what to note here is the parking, the way it's designed right now is it's going to sheet actually to the top towards the wetland area. There's no curb there. And what we have there is a bioretention area. So it actually sheets into the bioretention area, which in the outlet of the bioretention area is to the left, and actually doesn't discharge to the wetland. So the idea, we're meeting pre-development post, right? So therefore, we couldn't discharge the wetlands, actually be too much sent there. And then also, we're obviously treating all of the runoff to meet the state requirements and also local. So we're meeting all the requirements with recharge, quantity, and quality. If you go to the next page, actually, which might be the easiest one to see. Yes, this generally shows the overall drainage design. So the circles that are orange red are all the catch basin locations, the deep sump hood with hoods. The little squares are water quality units. Some of those obviously are before we go into the infiltration basins, which are shown as there's two types. We have, if you pan down a little bit, there's two large above-grade basins coming off George Levin, those two to the left. And there's also subsurface infiltration with chambers to the right there. You can see behind one of the residential buildings. We also have two bioretention areas. One is kind of looks like a swale down there, and then the one we talked about up by the resource area. Okay, and then the next page just talks about erosion control. So these are all part of the normal plans. We have a full erosion control plan, and then also we have a full landscaping plan. I can go into details. I had included them with the slides here in case you want to go into them, but and the next sheet blows up. So we have proposed in landscaping and obviously seed mix in that bioretention area. And then the other thing to note, obviously, as part of the submission, we have a full operation and maintenance plan, which obviously talks about the required maintenance and how often everything will be visually observed and maintained, again, following, the state mandates. Also want to note that if you may be aware, we're already in the planning board process. Meetings we've had 3, 4. We're going to have more. So they actually have a peer reviewer that actually is reviewing these plans and stormwater report that I submitted to you already. And we're hoping to get their comments back this week. We haven't heard from Gil yet, from the planning department, if we're going to, but that was supposedly, they were going to turn it around in 2 weeks.
Yeah, the peer reviewer, Beals and Thomas, will be also CCing the Conservation Commission on that as well.
So they are reviewing the full plan set and the full stormwater report. So that's all I had, unless you had any questions. I know some questions, you forwarded some questions that you had.
Yeah, those came from me.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to run through those, if you just want to.
Yeah, that's fine. I think for me, my major comment was going to be to have the stormwater report and drainage calcs peer reviewed.
Yep.
I'm fairly, it's so nuanced with the calculations and stuff. Like I know what I'm looking at, but not with enough confidence
Sure.
for this board to sign off on it. So I'm glad that that's getting peer reviewed. So yeah, I don't know if you had a chance to look at the comments that got sent over. They're relatively minor. Some of them are just clarification questions.
Sure.
I don't know if we want to run through kind of sheet by sheet, and then I'll open it up to the rest of the
Yeah,
commission.
however
and
you
see
want to
if-
do it. Yep.
Yeah.
That's great.
So I guess my first question was, it's on C453. And I think you've already said that no work is taking place in the 25-foot no disturb. So
Correct.
I just want clarification that there's going to be no clearing of that adjacent wooded area.
Correct. So the idea is the tree line, it shows best on this one, actually, this is a good
Yeah.
plan. So the idea is the limit of work, limit disturbance is the edge of the tree cut line, which is outside the 25 foot. So it's basically at the extent of the grading. So we have to grade to get the parking lot in that bioretention area.
Sure.
And then that's right where that basically the erosion controls will be, that tree cut line will be, and again, that's all outside the 25 foot.
Okay. And that tree line, I think I read in I don't know if it was the report or maybe it was the ANRAD or something. There's a pretty clear distinction between the forested tree line and like the mowed, what would have been mowed for the driving range, correct?
That's a clear line that's out
Yeah.
there. So you can see the proposed line, and you can actually, it should show up here where the existing tree line is, which was on
Yeah.
the existing conditions, so the idea is not to obviously, to try to maintain as much of that buffer as possible.
Okay.
I think one of the other questions too was you're asking about that bioretention area. So it runs
Yeah,
almost
I think that was an erroneous thing. I think I looked at it and I thought it said infiltration basin.
Okay.
Not bioretention, so.
and it runs the full length, so we really can't, we have to have the volume in there, we can't shrink it.
The way that it was shown on the plans, like this call out specifically, the way it jutted out, in my head, just thought infiltration, and so I didn't look close enough, so, yeah, that comment kind of negates itself, but, and then my next question on this plan, on this sheet was, in regards to the stone wall that's shown.
Yep.
Is that gonna be maintained? Are you removing part of it?
So our plan of now was just to remove the part that's within the limit of work.
Okay,
Which is kind of the top left, right? So if it's outside the limit of work,
not
we
gonna
weren't
touch it.
planning on
Yeah.
touching it. Yep.
is it I'm assuming it's man-made. I mean,
Yes, yeah,
It's-
yeah.
is it in good condition?
Have you,
Yeah,
I
it's
haven't
very-
been back in a while. Yeah, I think I'm not really sure. I didn't walk the whole line.
It's, some of the rocks are not piled up, it's not like a really well-formed,
It's a throne.
yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, but it is there, it's definitely
Okay.
man-made stone wall,
Okay.
which I think should be preserved as much as possible.
Yeah, yeah, and it sounds like they're not gonna do anything outside of the limit
Yeah.
of work
Yeah.
that they don't have to, so. Okay, my next couple of questions are on 603. Sandra, if you wanna go to that one.
Which would be the erosion control plans, probably
Yeah.
another 3 or 4 sheets
Okay.
long.
603.
Oh,
Oh, there we go.
that-
There we
use-
go.
you can use that one.
603, right?
Yep.
And if you wanna just zoom into the top portion that we're talking about.
I'm gonna have to get myself a mouse here.
Yeah, I guess my first question is, and maybe this is just me not knowing, construction feasibility, but can you just explain the need for the temporary sediment basin and, why it has to specifically go there?
It does not. We can potentially move that further from the buffer in the wetland area. But it's to obviously during construction before we pave to handle the sediment. We want to make sure that the sediment's not getting into the resource area, so that we kind of create a low lying in there and actually can hold some of the sediment.
Is it because it's too large of an area to be, for the drainage, the runoff to be captured by just straw wattles and silt
That's the
fence?
concern.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
the concern.
Okay.
Yep. But I believe we
That's-
can potentially move it further away.
Yeah, if we could move it, I guess, as far outside of, I mean, I know the 100-foot buffer is there, but if we can pull it back at least
Yeah, I don't.
further from the 25-foot no disturb, I think that would be our
I think we can
preference.
slide it down like where Andrew has the hand. I don't think we'll be able to get that outside the 100, but we'll be able to get it further away.
Okay,
Maybe below that stone wall? Is that the stone wall right here?
yeah.
The stone wall.
It's right above it. Yeah,
But we can pull that down prior to within the full proposed
Yeah.
pavement area.
yeah, okay. Yeah, I didn't know if it had something to do with this, the way the soils were in this particular spot, but if you could move it, that would be
Sure.
great. Same comment on the stockpile location. I don't know if that's able to be moved, I guess maybe around the corner outside of.
We can move that too. That one we can move outside the 100-foot, and they actually even put a condition in there, because a lot of times, as you know, the contractor moves things around
Yeah.
like they want, and once it leaves us, they're in charge of the SWIP and maintaining it, so if you put that as a condition, that has to be,
Okay.
we'll show it outside the 100, but if you put it as a condition, then they'll have to keep it outside the 100.
Okay.
Because a lot of times, they'll move it to where they want,
Yes, I know.
and they won't pay it, even though it shows on our plan, they'll put it somewhere else.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And then just a general comment, I know in the details for, the erosion controls, you're proposing straw bales.
Yep.
I think the commission generally prefers straw wattles, so just if we could change that
We can
detail
change
to
that.
show the straw wattles, that would be great. And then, my other couple of comments are just on the landscaping plans. There were some specifically on 703 and 705, if we want to go there. There were a couple of non-native species that were proposed, so I recommended some native alternatives if they're, I don't know if it would be you or if you have a landscape.
We have the landscape architects
Yeah.
in-house, yeah.
If you want to review that with them and see if that's an amenable alternative.
I actually, as soon as I got the comments, I forwarded to the landscape architecture, and he didn't think there was any issue with any
Okay.
of those.
Yeah.
Do you have a recommendation instead of I'm gonna butcher this Latin name,
The fragrant sumac.
yes, thank you. Do you,
There's a native sumac, but I don't know if you were going for like an ornamental value.
Okay.
Both of them, so the fragrant sumac is more of a shrub.
Yep.
It turns red in the fall, so it does have like a fairly high ornamental value.
Yep.
There's another type of sumac, but it looks more like a tree.
Okay.
It still turns red in the fall, but if you're going for more of that shrub look, I would probably not recommend the other sumac, and I would recommend to like a different shrub.
Okay.
Like you could put like what is it, winged euonymus,
okay.
That's.
or burning
invasive.
bush, is it?
That's invasive, that, no, yeah,
Used to
that's,
be native.
nope, it's invasive, do not,
not?
nope.
All right.
That's right, I'm sure he'll
Can do
know.
Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah,
there's
that's,
something.
Blueberry, winterberry, I don't,
I was
Well,
thinking
blueberry's not
Winterberry
gonna do
because that's
very
what you
well.
love.
Blueberry's not, because it's
blueberry,
not
it
wet.
depends on where, yeah. Winterberry is a wetland indicator.
What's the one that smells like vanilla?
Sweet pepper bush, maybe?
They have that proposed, yeah.
Do they? Sweet
already.
pepper bush is
Yeah.
wonderful.
okay.
Yeah.
Smells like vanilla. Sweet,
It's like a very sweet.
in August, yeah, I think, yeah, it's sweet pepper bush.
The
yeah.
other sumac that, I mean, if you want a sumac, it's called staghorn sumac.
Okay,
But again, it looks more like a tree, so I would leave that up to the landscape architect. I'm not
Sure.
gonna go back and forth about,
okay.
One
Long if it's
tree
native, long if it's
type, but-
native, okay.
just
long as
something
it's
that's
native.
native and non-invasive, which, thank you for correcting me. Thank God I haven't recommended that.
Look like that space.
Okay,
And then I think the last comment I had on landscaping was just in terms of consistencies. I noticed that there were two different contractors for seed mixes. I would recommend going with one or the other
Okay.
as opposed to, each here, one here and one
Sure.
here. But that's obviously.
I don't
gonna
think that'll be an
depend
issue.
on
I'll double check with
availability of
them,
seed
but-
mixes as well, so.
Okay.
Those were my only, sounds like a lot, but I don't think it's anything major. And I'll take a look at the comments from the peer reviewer on the stormwater report. But other than that, I'm all set. So I'll open it up and see if other members of the commission have comments. Start with Brian.
I'm all set, just my own curiosity, it's outside of our scope, but is 304, was that the initial proposal for the amount of units?
I think there was more,
Or I didn't know if you could come down.
11, maybe we came down a little bit, I think.
Gotcha.
Because before there was a different plan.
Yep.
And the architecture was different. Maybe that was like a year and a half ago. I think the units came down from that, but it's a different, before there was like 3 buildings and they were kind of all outside the pool area, but this is a totally different change, but I think the unit count actually came down a little bit.
Okay. Thank you.
It sounds like Jessica had everything covered, but I would say all native plantings for sure, and as much green area as you can fit in, for the development, the better, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm going to just wait for the peer review.
Yeah,
Thanks.
so with the planning board, they had similar ideas, so we shifted some things to add some more green space,
Good.
particularly around the pool area, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's good.
Was that area at the top always a bioretention basin? Was that always designed or was it designed as something else that you switched to a bioretention?
No, recently it's always been a bioretention, yeah. I'm trying to think if we had something back there in that plan, I'm talking about like a year and a half
Yeah.
ago, I don't remember.
No,
But,
I'm for the bioretention. I think because obviously there's plants in there and it will help pollinators and it's not, rip-rap stone for people to look at, so.
yep,
I didn't know if the planning board had commented something similar.
nope.
Are you, how many more meetings with the planning board are you anticipating?
I wish one, but I don't think so. Yeah, do you want to try to speak that, Danielle? Yeah.
Hi, Danielle Blake with the proponent. So my colleague who's running the project submitted a site plan package in September, no, excuse me. In September. And the 120 date expires in January. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my dates right.
That's okay.
But we've had a few, maybe like 3 to 5 planning board hearings, and we're waiting for direction from the planning board in terms of kind of next steps. But we are on the agenda tentatively, I think, next Thursday, the 19th.
Okay.
So we'll probably learn more about that. But we do need at least 2 more because we need to go through the stormwater review comments as well as traffic peer review.
Okay,
Yeah, so I suspect that that's going to get the
at least 2 or
120.
3 more, probably. Okay, okay.
Yeah, they're running a lot like a 40B, but it's a 40R project. So the planning board is actually taking care of it. There was an issue with, the chair had a family emergency, so her husband passed away, so she wasn't able to attend, so they had to,
Oh, really?
yeah. So that's why she wasn't at the last meeting, so, but hopefully they'll be there at the next meeting.
Yeah, we'll just wait to hear from Gil. on
Yeah.
what the
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Go ahead, Jill.
I think I'm all set. At this time, I'm okay.
I'm good.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about mostly everything. We obviously still don't have a DEP file number as well, so pending, we can't close anything until that's issued. So I think we'll end up continuing until the January 7th meeting. Hopefully by then we'll have both the DEP file number and the stormwater comments, the peer review comments from the stormwater report. And hopefully we'll be able to, you know, if there's any issues with the stormwater, we'll be able to talk about that at the next meeting, so.
Sure.
Yeah, I know, I'm gonna ask in a second.
Your comments, had you formally sent those? Do you want formal responses to your comments, or do you want to just make sure that
I
obviously we
don't
address
think
the
I
plans?
need formal responses, just,
Make sure
you
we
know, the
address the
next time you
revisions
come
that way.
before us in January, if those
Yep.
changes could be
Yep.
reflected,
Great.
so that when we do close the hearing, that we have an accurate plan of record.
Sure.
We'd need we need the final plan to go with the order of conditions anyways to send
Yep.
back to,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Okay, so I will see if anyone in the audience has any comments or questions on this project. Seeing none. I will make a motion to continue the public hearing until January 7th with consent of the applicant.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
That concludes hearing and meeting items. Moving on to commission business, we have a vote to accept peer review proposal from Horsley Witten for the ANRAD at Heather Hill Properties. Jeff Heidelberg, SE number 2431-, in the amount of $5,800. So I think that, you know, we have already talked about that earlier when we reviewed the ANRAD. I'm fine with it. It sounds like the applicant's fine with the fee.
Agreed to it.
So I think we can I think I'll make a motion
Excuse me.
to
Bless you.
approve the
Thank
peer
you.
review proposal for the ANRAD for Heather Hill Properties.
So moved.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Wasn't sure.
All right, and then we have a request for a minor modification to the retaining wall at 41 Bryan Drive. Daniel and Jennifer Wilson, SE number 2430978.
Yeah, so this one, Ted's here to back me up. Yeah,
Good to see you
basically,
again.
this was flagged during the building inspection of the building permit when they pulled it. The plan deviates from what you originally approved. So what happened is the landscaper, with the blocks that you guys approved, the plan originally had it going straight like an S and straight again. And it was one wall, one
Level?
level. Now they're doing a 2 level and a softer into the, it's just a softer curve. Yes, thank you. I'll eventually get my words out.
It's all right. Look where I started and when was it, July?
So,
Yikes.
yeah, so it was just, I think Tyler had stopped it and flagged it before he left, and then I had I got to talk to Miss Jennifer, what's her last name, Wilson, on the phone a few times. We've done a building permit, where is it? So I just wanted to bring it in front of you guys to see before we go ahead and approve anything. If you guys needed to see this come back, do you want to see the original one that we've?
I was gonna say, could we maybe put them side by side just to
Yeah, I thought I had it there.
get clarification on?
The plan that we have in our packet is the drawn one, the new proposed, or the amended change?
The one, this one here is in your packet?
Yes.
Yes,
I
okay.
can't even tell. That looks different.
There's like a drawn CAD drawing over the color
I
one.
thought I had pulled it, but,
Which one's the new, which one's the
Oh my
old?
god, I didn't even see that. Okay, hold on. Because when I looked at this, I was like, I don't see any changes.
there is a slight change, and it's just basically, the way Tilton had done it, it was a little more straight and a zigzag and straight again. And now it just kind of softens the whole backyard. They're doing a 2-tier, so it will
I
look a
thought
little
they
nicer.
suggested a 2-tier the last time they were here, no?
I think Larry did mention it,
Can you,
But-
sorry, introduce yourself?
I'm sorry, Ted Leisinger, Tilton Associates, Senior Project Manager, 81 John L. Deesh Boulevard. Here on behalf of Jennifer Wilson, just to answer some questions, but as far as, it was mentioned if there was going to be a two-tiered wall, but unfortunately, the way that wall was laid out on the final approved plan wasn't going to fit with the structural engineered design wall. So they kind of reshaped it as best as they could. I mean, it's, you know, we did the best we could with the verti blocks and stuff, but.
So it's like the pieces couldn't go any tighter?
Right, there's some restriction on the amount of curvature for the set radiuses.
What's in between the blocks? Is it
I thought there was supposed
is
to
it
be
a walkway?
I thought there was
No,
supposed to be
it'll just be like
plantings, right?
a
Like a
grass
grass area?
area,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, I'm sorry.
I thought Larry mentioned plantings too.
Yeah,
between-
yeah, there'll be plantings there
Yeah.
too.
I thought I had both of them in there for you. I know it's in here somewhere.
And did I notice a set of stairs going down from
Yeah,
one level to the
yeah.
other?
No, I have the one.
Is it that one?
No, that's the new one. Where's,
That's the new one.
what was the other one called? You remember, right?
It's from 1113. Isn't that? I mean, to me, this seems like if I didn't even notice it, it should constitute a minor change, but.
That's the request.
Where in the hell is
And we're
that?
just talking about the area,
There you
Oh, there
go.
you
Near
go.
the-
I just couldn't see it when it's.
Right.
Yeah. So you see how it goes gray here?
Oh, okay.
So it kind of goes,
Okay.
yeah, it kind of goes closer to that cobblestone patio, I guess, yeah.
So now,
yeah.
so it softens it this way. It doesn't come out straight.
Right.
Looks like it goes a little bit farther up the backyard too, the new one, yeah.
So it kind of comes
Maybe
like
not,
this
yeah.
and softens and goes like
Yeah.
this,
Has
rather
it
than.
shifted at all? So it looks, I don't know if this plan is,
I think if you go back
To
to
this
the
one?
original one. Yeah, I think it might have shifted up a little bit.
Okay,
to-
so
It looks like it
Closer.
shifted down, actually.
so if you see the red.
Oh, I was doing by the red,
It's red
the
dot.
red sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that one has.
Okay.
So you have the
Oh, sorry,
existing
yeah, it did
concrete
shift down.
patio, it comes right up against it now.
Right.
And, well, it did before, but it's, yeah. It's just two different people doing two different plans, because your plans are a little different than
Right.
this, the landscape guy, SFC.
So, yeah, so with the wall that trailed back, they pulled back the rock slope a little bit. So you actually have a little more green, a little,
Yeah. This area here is the same as what you have on this
Right.
area
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
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 Where's the
So-
staircase now? Is it still in the same spot?
The one off the deck?
Yeah.
This one here,
patio?
Oh, that's, okay, so that's still gonna.
That's
okay,
still
yeah.
gonna happen, right?
they've just made this a little larger so you could see what's going on with the
Right.
blocks. But it looks so drastically different that Tyler wasn't too sure, and he flagged it before he left.
What are the little humps going regularly?
This one
Oh,
here?
like section A, section E?
Oh, so on this, the structural engineer's plan, those are the section As, and they tell you like for what radius is like the 16.6
Oh, of
inches.
the blocks?
Yeah, they just tell you.
Oh, okay. I mean, I think this qualifies as a minor modification. I don't think this needs to be considered an amended order of conditions where you have to appear before us at a public hearing again. I think the change is very, very minor. I think we already allowed the encroachment into the 25-foot. I don't think this is really gonna adversely affect that more. Those are my thoughts. I'll start with Brian.
I'd like to echo what you say. I did the site visit with Tyler, back, I remember,
Back in-
yeah, I think it was like, I forget now.
Yeah, I
It
know,
might have been
it's been a
September.
while.
But it was, but yeah, I mean, personally, I see that as a very minor change. So yeah, I have nothing else.
Deb?
The blue dotted line is the 25-foot?
Correct.
Yes.
Could you go back to the old one again?
So it's essentially 2 blocks instead of 1.
Yeah.
That's gonna be in
It
it.
softens here, doesn't,
Yeah.
it's not as rigid.
Yeah.
So it kind of softens around here.
No, I think it's a minor modification change.
Yeah, I don't,
I'm fine with it.
okay. Jill?
My question would be, the line of shrubs that we have right, I'd probably say 12 feet off the wetland line. In the updated plan, it looks like the patio might encroach into some of those planting locations. I
Yeah.
was just wondering if
Oh,
this removes any of those, or if any of them have to be shifted.
Yeah, we'll make sure the patio's out of that zone.
So they're still gonna be planted?
Correct.
As long as there's no
Yep.
planting change, yeah?
Yep.
Oh, so is the patio moved farther to the
It's moved a little bit south.
South, yeah.
south?
Probably by like
So that
10
shouldn't
feet,
be-
maybe?
yeah.
8 feet?
Yeah, right around there.
Plants are still there?
I'm good.
I recuse myself from this hearing.
Oh, okay. All right. So it sounds like we're all in favor, minus Cliff, who's recusing himself, about, on this being a minor modification, with the understanding, I don't know if there's a note you can add to the file, Sandra, that just states when we get the as-built to make sure that those plantings adjacent to the patio are there.
okay.
Okay.
But other than that, I will make a motion to approve the minor modification to the retaining wall at 41 Bryan Drive. Daniel and Jennifer Wilson, SE number 2430978.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All those
Abstain.
recused? Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes commission business. For moving on to other business, we have one set of minutes from 11:26. I took a look, they're
Yeah,
You're
I just
fine.
had one quick update for you after your minutes, if you want to do the minutes first.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I took a look at the minutes. I think they're fine. I didn't have any changes. I don't know if anybody else has changes, thoughts to the minutes. All right, I will make a motion to approve the minutes from 11/26/2024.
So moved.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so I just wanted to give you a quick update. This was on the agenda for commission business. However, when I went in to look at it, it had already been approved on the building permit, but Don Cerrone had come in and I asked him what was going on. On 221 Oak Post Road, originally the septic system was in the 100-foot buffer. The garage section here was moved back. So what they've done is they've changed it to push the garage further forward, and they moved the septic completely out of the 100-foot buffer. So they just wanted you guys to be aware of that as when he comes for his certificate of compliance.
Oh, okay.
So everything is actually better. It's
Yeah.
kind of you pushing things
Yeah.
out, but just wanted to clarify that.
Okay.
So Tyler had it on the agenda, but he had already gone ahead and approved the building permit, so it's just,
Tyler approved the building permit?
he approved it November 8th,
Oh.
but he
I
had
didn't
this
even
on
know
the,
that was a thing.
there is a thing with the viewpoint, because the
Got
building
it.
permits go through and everything gets tagged.
Oh, for the different departments. Yep. Okay.
So, yeah, so it just gave me a little confusion for a bit, but
Okay.
it's all cleared up. But just so you're aware of what was going on.
Okay. And it sounds like you have an update on here for 21 East as well?
Yes, so 21 East, I went out today. They are all complete. They added in the tube trees that you requested.
Oh, okay.
And they left the tree that looked like it was dying, although it still has leaves on it. So,
That'll be fine.
It might be fine, actually. Scott was saying it might come back in the spring.
That's what you're saying.
The ground all looks stable, so I told them that they could go ahead and
Request the COC.
request the COC and close out the enforcement order, so we can deal with that all in one night on the 7th.
Good, yeah, that sounds good. Okay. I don't have anything else for me. Anybody have anything? Nothing?
Not for now, no. I've started to go out and look at things when they're coming in, so.
All right,
Thank you.
that's good.
And thanks
Yeah,
for
so
this.
just, yeah, I have put my resume in to be the new agent, so we'll see what happens.
Yep. I didn't know if I was supposed to share that with anybody, so.
I figured I'd share it with you, and
Yeah.
just in case you still keep seeing me here, but I won't know
You're
for
an
another.
interim person anyway.
I've been named the interim in the meantime, so we'll see.
No, I support you.
Thank you.
All right, if nobody has anything else, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
We stand adjourned at 7:28. Quick meeting.